If you are getting into hybrid training, you are going to want to listen to these 5 tips for how to be successful as a hybrid training athlete. Hi, I'm Catherine. I'm the personal trainer and running coach of Kathletics. Here at Kathletics, we're all about meeting you where you are in your fitness so you can approach hybrid training in a sustainable way. I've been in the fitness industry for over 8 years now, and I'm so happy to see that hybrid training has finally been picking up some steam over the last few years because strength training and cardiovascular training are truly peas in a pod. Both are very helpful if you are looking to improve your overall health as well as your strength, muscle, bone health, mental health, heart health, overall health in general. I actually have a video that goes in depth about hybrid training and how to program for hybrid training, so be sure to click that link that is in the description. So, to get into these 5 tips that are going to help you succeed as a hybrid training athlete, the first thing we want to address is meeting you where you are in your fitness. This is exactly what we are all about within Kathletics. We want to meet you where you are in your fitness so you can be set up for success for the long run. Now, asking yourself where you are in your fitness is more than just asking you what season of life you're in. This is showing up the day of the workout and deciding, okay, this is the RPE, the rate of perceived exertion that I'm going for. What does that look like for me today with my circumstances based on my fueling, my hydration, my stress levels, and my sleep? Where do I need to meet myself where I am today in order to successfully complete this workout and feel good afterwards? And this is a skill that those who are successful with hybrid training develop over time so they can continue to show up for themselves regardless of the circumstances that they're living in right now. Number 2, now this is going to be more for people who are getting into the hybrid training world or are new to fitness or shifting from a heavy lifting season to more of a cardiovascular season. So, what I mean by that is that we are going to allow for adaptation as you shift from those seasons. Now, typically in a hybrid training season, so again, hybrid training being 2 forms of exercise that you're trying to improve over time. So let's say, again, strength training and running. Generally, those who are running have their main running season within like the late spring to early fall months. Now, that leaves the heavy lifting time to be more in the late fall to early spring. So, offsetting those seasons. So you need to give yourself time to adapt. So we're not all of a sudden just jumping into a bunch of running volume or a bunch of lifting volume. We need to have a grace period of giving yourself adaptation and maybe pulling back a little bit to allow for those shifts in volume. Now, again, this happens on a season to season basis, but this is also important for those who are just getting into hybrid training. So, for example, if you are someone who, like me, was coming from primarily lifting and then increasing their cardiovascular system, we might need to pull back a little bit from that lifting or that lifting volume in order to increase the cardio and have time to recover in between your sessions. Now, again, this is a totally normal and encouraged part of hybrid training. This is how you stay successful and continually reach your goals is by meeting yourself where you are and also allowing yourself to adapt. So those two kind of go hand in hand. You'll find that all of these tips kind of go hand in hand. Now, you'll notice in tip number 2, I was talking about how certain seasons have certain things that you focus on. So, my third tip is to understand that fitness is for life. This isn't for 4 weeks, this isn't for 8 weeks, this isn't for 12 weeks, 6 months, or even a single year. Fitness is for life. We want to sustain this for the rest of time on earth. Because, as I mentioned earlier, both strength training and cardiovascular training are so incredibly helpful for your overall health. So, we want to make sure that the habits and the type of training program that we are participating in is meeting those expectations of being sustainable and allowing yourself to show up day after day, week after week, and year after year. Number 4 comes down to more of the day to day training program. So, when you are entering a training program, you want to make sure that you're keeping your hard days hard and your easy days easy. Now, easier said than done. What does that mean? So, that means that not every day should be hard and not every day should be easy. If you are training for 5 days a week, you should not be training 5 hard days. Of those days, let's say maybe 1 to 3 of those days at most are hard. I want you to hear that again. Of those 5 days, 1 to 3 of those days are hard. That doesn't mean that you're not training with intensity. Hard days require more recovery. So, how are you going to recover if you're doing 5 days of hard days? We want to make sure we're balancing it out with some easy days, such as doing zone 2 cardio or allowing yourself for a little bit easier pulling back from a little bit of lifting, depending on how many days you're lifting and doing cardio in a week. Hard days and easy days are equally important. We need to make sure that we're managing that so then again you can manage your overall volume in order to recover and feel fresh for all the rest of your workouts. Lastly, number 5, those who are successful with hybrid training are fueling enough. Now, there is nothing wrong with wanting to change your body composition, your weight, your aesthetics, anything like that. There's nothing wrong with that. But when you are hybrid training, so hybrid training trying to increase and improve both your strength and your endurance, you need to make sure that you're fueling enough to support your recovery and to support the muscle that you're trying to build or maintain throughout your training sessions. So, fueling enough means enough calories, enough protein. In general, I recommend 1.4 to 1.8 grams per kilogram of body weight of protein per day. And hopefully, that is being spread throughout the day. And then again, wanting to make sure that we're consuming enough carbs and also fats in order to sustain the rest of your lifestyle and your activities. I know this is a generalization, so for overall day to day, wanting to fuel enough, but we also want to make sure that we are fueling during the workout sessions, especially those long duration cardio sessions. We need to make sure that we are fueling enough. If this is something that you are really wanting to work on, I would highly recommend working with a registered dietitian. I know we've already gone through 5 tips, but I'm going to give you a bonus one. So, number 6 is understand that more isn't always better. Better is better. So, I understand that when you're getting into hybrid training, it feels like we need to be doing all the things, right? Because we want to be addressing our fitness, both strength, cardio. We want to make sure that we're getting enough recovery. We want to make sure we're fueling enough, getting enough sleep, managing our stress, staying hydrated. There's so many things to pay attention to and be aware of. But again, more isn't always better, especially when it comes to training. We don't need to keep adding and adding and adding. In fact, for me personally, I found that if I gave myself an extra rest day, so if I had 2 rest days per week, I felt so much better. I was performing better. I was more recovered. Things just moved better overall. So again, that depends person to person, but I would recommend that you're getting 1 to 2 rest days per week regardless, so you can have that time to improve and again have a better performance and feel better about your training. If you're looking to take the guesswork out of your hybrid training program, be sure to click the link in the description and check out what we have to offer. Otherwise, be sure to like, subscribe, and then we'll see you in the next one.